Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport. My name is Justin. Today we're going to talk a little bit about turbos and fuel economy. Behind me, I have truck 153. Well, and right over here is truck 159. I just want to show you these trucks. This is in the afternoon. These guys got back and want to talk a little bit about fuel economy and turbos today. We tried this new Switchblade turbo, and that is something that I want to update you guys on. First off, let's check out these trucks. So this is this Titan dump trailer. Little update on this thing. This thing has been awesome. Driver loves it. It's been it's big, but we can also haul a lot in it. He's right around 36,000 empty, but right along with that, he is a little bit longer than our other trailers. He's got heavier axles, and it is taller. It's 80-inch sides, so it does hold a lot more. And definitely for some of the things that he hauls, it has come in handy many times. So if I had to do it over again, I would do it again. This Peterbilt has a Detroit in it, and one way you can quickly tell if a truck has a Detroit in or not is just look at the front right here, and you can see it has a Detroit in it. That's one way to quickly tell. There's oil spots there. No, they all have their things, right? Let's go check out this side. So this truck is not the truck that we put that Switchblade turbo on. And if you want, I can link that video up above of doing that. We put the turbo on in May. I think it was May 6th is when we put the turbo on. And it was from Switchblade. One of the reasons that I put the turbo on is because of fuel economy. When you run a fleet of trucks, fuel is one of the biggest expenses, and you try to figure out what can I do to save money on fuel. And there's guys will do a lot of different things. Fuel treatment is a big one. Turbos, oils, lubricants, stuff like that you can run. And what's really difficult is that you got to be able to do this across the fleet, or to be able to do it in a way that's feasible. Like just to throw turbos on 30 trucks would be very difficult, very expensive. And you got to look at what's my payback time and kind of do it in a way that makes sense. So the truck I put that turbo on is not here. He's actually in Pennsylvania, so I couldn't really do a video of that specific truck, but I can still give you an update on the numbers and kind of where we're at with it. I'll give you first a little bit of feedback from the driver. The driver said that there's a steep hill that we pull, and it's a hill that we pull a lot. And he's like, pulling that hill, I can gain a gear because it's a very steep hill. And when you go up the hill, you got to pretty much just lock it in a gear. And oftentimes you could go a little bit faster, but you can't get it in the next gear and the boost up high enough, quick enough to be able to keep it going. So you pretty much pick a gear and then that's what you go in. But with this new turbo, he was able to shift to the next gear because it was able to spool up. And he didn't just do it one time, multiple times. It's just consistently he can go up that hill in one more gear. And he also noticed yes, the turbo spools up so much faster. I'm not looking for something that adds horsepower, which is this does not really add horsepower. It just lets the turbo spool up quicker. So of all the turbos, it makes the most sense to me. It seemed very easy, not hard at all to work. It's not like a variable vane and things gotta open and close. It's pretty simple, right? And you can check out Switchblade's website. You can check out their Facebook page and you can see how they work. But basically, there's a vane in there, or a piece in there that opens the airflow up to where it spools it much faster, and that's all it does is spools it faster. So and it cleans up your smoke. So far, we put this in May, and I've been doing some testing, like what's our fuel economy, what can we get out of it, and we've been tracking fuel economy all along. We put that on back in May. So his fuel economy from January to March, which I didn't have good data for April, because April, it takes a little bit of time for our system to update. They got to make sure all the receipts are in. So just to be safe, I went January to March for truck 148. And he averaged 4.93, which is what I said in the video back then. And now, so that was in 2025. And now in May to July, so he put it on May 6th. We put the turbo on, I think it was May 6th or beginning of May. May to July, his fuel average was 5.50. And if I go back to 2024, May to July, so this is actually the same time frame, but instead of 25, it's in 24, his fuel economy was 5.17. And what I also did is I pulled another truck that has a similar engine in, similar wheelbase, does similar work, it's same rate gear ratio, and I pulled up data on him. So in January to March, he did 4.53 of this year, which is 4.53 versus 4.93, close. And then in May to July of this year, he did 5 miles to the gallon. And in May to July of 2025 of truck 148 with that other turbo, he got 5.5. So basically half a mile to the gallon better. And that's pretty significant, especially, if you're running a lot of miles. These guys are running heavy at times, and there's different seasons, different things that we do. So that's why I try to get the same time frame year over year, so we have as much good data as we can get. So gives you an idea. So that turbo looks like it gained us about half a mile to the gallon, which is awesome. So as far as savings, what does that translate to savings in a year? If the guy runs 100,000 miles and he runs 5.17 miles to the gallon like he did in 2024, at $3.50 a gallon, you'd be looking at $67,698. At 5.5 miles to the gallon, 18,181 gallons. At $3.50 a gallon, you'd be at $63,633. So just say fuel is the same cost, just a difference in fuel economy. So you're looking at about just over a $4,000 savings in fuel. That is definitely something that makes me say, hey, we might have a winner here. Now, there's still a lot of variables. I don't know how long that turbo is going to last me. Like, it seems legit. It seems good. We've ran it for a couple months. I'm going to keep watching it. Am I going to go just buy 25 turbos now and replace your whole fleet? Absolutely not. But I will do some more testing, and I'm going to keep a close eye on this because it definitely has my attention. That's pretty significant because I take $4,000 and I have, we're running, 25 to 30 trucks, but let's just say 25 trucks every day. And you take $4,000, that's $100,000 in a year. That is pretty significant. And that's where those little things, and I have to remember, is those little things sometimes make a big difference at the end of the day. If we can save a little bit here or a little bit there, that's all it's going to take sometimes. Fuel is a big expense, and especially the higher fuel goes, the more painful it is. But when you have a fleet of trucks, you got to always be watching this. I do plan. Here's my moving forward plan. So I got a couple months of data. That's great. I like it. I'm not gonna move fast. It still is. It's still a little scary so far. Like, that engine that we put that on has been rebuilt. I want to say it's got about 800,000 miles on it. I think we had rebuilt it right before that truck had burnt. So I'd like to make sure that these turbos, we're not gonna, I want to put on there for a year, see if we have any failures. The other thing is I have it on a truck that goes over the road quite a bit. So I want to put it on a truck that stays more local as well. So I'm not gonna pull that turbo off. I'm gonna leave that turbo on, but I'm going to swap out another turbo to put on another truck that is more local. And hopefully I can do some more testing and how does it work on these local trucks, because that's gonna be key too. And I think in my mind, it should be better, because those are the guys that are gonna be using their foot a lot more. They're taking off a lot more often, and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what that does on a local truck, if I can get half a mile to the gallon again. Got some trucks coming back in. A load of apples. Yeah, I don't move fast. I like to test things out. I like to give it time. I like to see how it works. Tires, same way. See how they work, see how they run out, see how they wear. These tires actually, I bought, these were Connell's HDL2. This came on the truck when I bought it. These were virgins, so I kind of, hey, we'll run them out. We kind of watch. We know how many miles, we got the truck with, so we're watching to see how they run out, how they wear. Are they wearing even? And how they run out here in the winter too. So I don't move very fast. We're watching, we're waiting, we're learning. And my goal is, as we have failure or as we update, rebuild engines or whatever, that's when I plan on updating turbos. And as long as these turbos hold up, as long as they still do what they are intended to do, I'm going to switch over to Switchblade. So I'll slowly switch over. To go and spend $50,000 on turbos right now, it just seems kind of crazy. But it is something that I'm going to watch, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. If you have questions about these turbos, don't talk to me. Talk to Dan at Switchblade, and I can leave his contact information in the description down below. I'll tell you this, if I was an owner operator and needing to put a turbo on a truck, or even just switching out one turbo, you do the math, you might gain more miles to the gallon than we will. But that is absolutely something I would consider doing. I'm not telling you what to do, but if I just had one truck, it would seem easier to get that, to swap out one turbo, or like when you go to rebuild your engine. Hey, let's put a Switchblade on. I haven't run a lot of other turbos, and here's where I stand on turbos and things like that. It's got to be pretty basic. We've tried, I want to say we've tried a fancy turbo once, didn't like it, had issues. I forget the brand. It was many years ago. We've also tried doing a lot of other things to our engines, injector codes, marine cams, and all kind of stuff like that, and it doesn't work. I mean, it works. You get horsepower, you blow a lot of smoke, and it's a lot of fun. But you're not going to get a million miles out of that engine. So that I can guarantee you, because all it takes is one misstep, one time of trying to show off to your buddies how well this thing pulls, and you overheat that engine and you're toasted. You're done. So I just can't afford to do that to the many trucks that we have. So I don't like it. Are they fun? Yeah, absolutely. But every truck that we have, I try to keep as stock as possible. All right, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.